Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Charles Gabriel, and my pronouns are he and him, and we. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation united in a common purpose to make love real in our lives and in the world. We are diverse in our beliefs, atheist and agnostic, believers and seekers, and we welcome you here no matter your race, your class, your gender identity, your sexual orientation, your family structure, your job, or your health. Here we know that no matter our differences, we are connected by the interdependent web of life. Whether this is your first, fifth, 15th, or 50th visit, we invite you to introduce yourself to someone at the welcome table, and they would be happy to answer any questions you have about this congregation or Unitarian Universalism. Please, if you haven't done so already, please complete a visitor form. You can find a QR code for one in your order of service. That's here. And please join us for fellowship and food in the dining hall and the Edna Jones Assembly Room following the service. As we work to widen access to our community, please note that there are large print hymnals available at the welcome table, and listening assisted devices can be picked up from the sound desk. We have an elevator for those who need assistance going up and down. Just ask an usher where to find it. It's a little hidden. And gender-neutral restrooms can be found at the bottom of the stairs in the back of the sanctuary through the narthex. And gendered restrooms are through this door here on my right, your left, and down the hall. Use whichever one feels right for you. And lastly, longtime members, if you thought none of this applies to you, as our community grows, please wear your name tag. It allows us to greet one another warmly and genuinely. For our announcements today, at 12 o'clock there will be a choir rehearsal. All are invited to join the choir. At 12:15, join the Ending Racism Committee and Kay Weiser in Sullivan 1 and 2. Kay will explain her latest fabric art entitled American Racism, Origins, Evolvement, and Hope. At 12:30, continue the conversation with Reverend Hanna about how USG can build a sanctuary team to protect our immigrant neighbors and Philadelphia's sanctuary city status. Tomorrow evening at 7 in the Sullivan Chapel, join others to discuss the UUA Common Read book, Authentic Selves, Celebrating Trans and Non-Binary People and Their Families. And now, as we deepen into worship, I ask that you silence your cell phones and allow yourself to be present for this hour. But please, don't silence your children. Their sounds are welcome here.
Good morning, Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Reverend Hannah Capaldi. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve this congregation as your minister. It is good to be with you on this morning. And lest you think I'm not one of you, I am wearing Eagles socks. So, and my stole's a little shade of green to it. So, our call to worship today comes from the Reverend Joan Javier Duvall. Many of you know her as a minister here at times and a beloved colleague of mine.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether you have untold stories buried deep inside or stories that have been forced beyond the edges of comfort.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises.
You are beloved and welcome here.
Whatever is on your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
In this space of welcome and acceptance, commitment and recommitment, of covenant and connection, let us worship together.
As Rick Rhodes lights the chalice, please join me in the unison words printed in your order of service. We light this chalice, the beacon that calls us to love, to justice, to a deepening of the Spirit. Now please rise in body or spirit for our first hymn, number 1031, in the softback teal hymnal. Filled with loving kindness.
We will sing this several times. The first verse is, "May I be filled with loving kindness," and you may notice at the bottom of the page it says second time and third time. The second time is, "May you be filled with loving kindness." The third time will be, "May we be filled with loving kindness," and then we'll repeat those until we stop singing.
May we be
may we be filled.
It's now the time for all ages, so if there are folks in the wiggle room who want to come forward for this, we're going to hear a story. We're going to hear the origin story of Valentine's Day. Learn a little bit about St. Valentine. So all of you who are young or young at heart, if you want to come up and join us, our friend Kate is going to tell us the story today. Good morning.
All right, so I know today is like a holiday in Philadelphia, but we have another one coming up. So Valentine's Day, we're going to learn about the origin of Valentine's Day. So, how many of you like Valentine's Day? Yeah, people like it. Who does? Does anybody not like Valentine's Day? Also okay. Okay, we all have our own feelings and connection to the holiday. And sometimes it seems like Valentine's Day is all about chocolate and cards and all the gifts that we use to tell people we love them, right? But there's actually history to the holiday that we don't usually talk about. And does anybody know who St. Valentine was? No. Okay, we're going to find out. We're going to learn. All right, so Valentine was a man who lived in Rome during the 3rd century. That was a long, long time ago. Because it was so long ago, we don't have all of the facts about his story. What we do know is that Valentine was a Christian priest, and one of his jobs was to marry couples. At the time, Rome was ruled by an emperor named Claudius. Rome to have a big army full of men who would always be ready to fight. He expected men to volunteer to join his army because who wouldn't want to defend Rome? But many men just did not want to fight anymore. For many of them, they did not want to leave their wives and their families. What if they got hurt and didn't come back? Emperor Claudius was angry that men were not signing up to join his army. But he thought that if men were not married, they wouldn't mind joining the army. Yeah, no family, no worries, right? So Emperor Claudius decided to change the law and not allow any more marriages to take place. That's quite a policy. This upset lots of people. Men did not want to be forced into joining the army. Young couples wanted to honor their love to one another, and priests like Valentine wanted to fulfill the jobs they believed God had given them. However, Emperor Claudius was not Christian, so was not swayed by the priests' arguments, and instead believed that they should give up their faith. But Valentine decided to keep performing marriage ceremonies even after Emperor Claudius passed his law. All of this was done in secret, celebrating love, while also listening out for the footsteps of soldiers that might find them. However, Valentine was eventually found by the emperor's soldiers. He was brought into jail and sentenced to die as punishment. Emperor Claudius promised to save Valentine if he stopped performing marriage ceremonies and renounced his Christian faith. Valentine refused to do so, instead choosing death. Lots of people were said to visit him outside the windows of his jail cell, telling him how much they believed in love. This was incredibly meaningful to Valentine, and before his death, he left a note of gratitude that he signed, "Love from your Valentine." This was the first ever Valentine's Day card and started the tradition we have now. Valentine died on February 14th, 269 AD. Valentine.
Go now in peace.
One of my heroes when I was growing up in Clairton, Pennsylvania, was Roberto Clemente, the phenomenal right fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates baseball team. He was a beautiful man and a beautiful person with unmatched grace of movement. Clemente played 18 seasons for the Pirates, during which he joined the 3,000 hit club, maintained a .317 lifetime batting average, won 4 batting titles, 12 Gold Gloves, 2 World Series, and a National League Most Valuable Player award. One announcer remarked that Clemente in the outfield was an epic poem. As a teenager and a young man, I witnessed his grace and his beauty at the old Forbes Field. He expressed his statement of love as, "If you have a chance to accomplish something that will make things better for people coming behind you, and you don't do that, you are wasting your time on this earth." What a strong statement based in love. Clemente lived a life of giving love to baseball, giving love to his family, and giving love to the community. After an earthquake tore through Nicaragua on December 23, 1972, Clemente sent supplies to the country to support those in need. When these supplies were lost in the chaos, he decided to personally escort the next shipment to Nicaragua. On December 30th, 1972, Clemente's cargo plane took off and almost immediately crashed off the coast of Puerto Rico. Clemente was never seen again. His legacy lives on through the Roberto Clemente Foundation, inspiring others to give love as he did. He so exemplified the words in the biblical passage in the Gospel of John. "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." This week, we begin a 2-Sunday effort to raise funds to send community members to our annual denominational meeting called General Assembly. This year, the General Assembly will be in Baltimore. This conference is invigorating and meaningful, allowing UUs from across the country to gather and worship together, debate our values, and learn how to run an institution with efficiency and integrity. This 5-day affair is expensive, and it's essential it be accessible to all, no matter what your financial standing. So we pool funds through Sharing the Plate to offset costs to make the gifts of General Assembly available to all. Please give generously, as we have found that the more we give away, the more that comes our way. To give in cash or check, please drop in the plate as ushers pass by. To give by text, please follow the instructions on the back cover of your order of service or in the chat for those of you who are online.
Love hurts, love scars, love wounds and marks any heart not strong or tough enough to take a lot of pain. Take a lot of pain. Love is like a cloud, holds a lot of rain. Love hurts. Ooh, love hurts. You're young, I know. But even so, I know a thing or two. I learned from you. I really learned a lot. Really learned a lot. Love is like a stove. It burns you when it's hot. Love hurts. Ooh, love hurts. Some folks think of happiness, blissfulness, togetherness. Some fools fool themselves, I guess, but they're not fooling me. I know it isn't true. I know it isn't true. Love is just a lie made to make you blue. Love hurts. Ooh, love hurts. Ooh, love hurts.
Before we enter into a spirit of prayer or meditation, I wanted to let all of you know that longtime pillar of this community, Sarah West, passed away last night after a long battle with cancer. I will tell you that Sarah was a giant for being so small. She gave a lot to this community for many, many years. I feel lucky to have known her for the short time that I did. She served this congregation up until the very last days on our caring committee. And I want to add that she was ready to die. And her family was with her, and we will hold her tenderly in our hearts. Information about a service will be forthcoming. I invite you to get comfortable now, to settle into your seat. Soften your gaze, relax your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs and exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Our prayers today are inspired by the words of Andrew Weber. To the highest spirit of our aspirations, to that which grounds us and lifts us, to that which transcends us, to the sense of community we create, we come in prayer today. We lift prayers of desperation and of hope. We lift prayers of frustration and pain, angry with what the world has become, angry for watching our leaders put themselves first, with no regard for whom they go past or through. In the midst of our anger and our frustration, we find hope. Hope that we are here. Hope that a loving world is possible. Hope in the faith that love can and will triumph over hate. We lift prayers of knowing that every person is worthy of love. We lift prayers of commitment that we will continue to work and strive for a more just world where the broken are held in care. We do not lift prayers for miracles because we are the miracles. We are the force of the divine in the world. We are the holy wind of change. We lift prayers for our words to take root, for our actions to transform the world. Take note of the people to your left and right. Take note of yourself, your hands, and your feet. This is the divine embodied. Just as we ask for things when we pray, we know we too are the answers to these questions. We are the force of the holy, responding to our own desperation and our own hope. May we remember today and forward into the years to come. We are worthy of love at all times, and despite the words or actions of others, we are worthy of love. We are the love we are praying for. May it be so, and amen.
At this time, we invite you to contribute your joys and sorrows to the bowls of water at the front of the sanctuary on these two tables. Choose a smooth stone or a pebble and place it in the water to absorb your pain or ripple out with your joy. And Stearns will play as we process. We hope for a full recovery for Adele, and we acknowledge the heavy work Sarah and Lee do in caregiving at this time. Reverend Hannah will place a stone for Roman Sights as he is at home recovering from his successful tonsillectomy last week. To a speedy recovery and endless popsicles. Reverend Hannah will place a pebble for Ani Kelly as she deals with a recent bout of pneumonia. We hold her in our hearts while she heals. Reverend Hannah will place a pebble for Lyshawn Wilkerson in sorrow at Lyshawn's broken leg. May their recovery be full and swift. And Reverend Hannah will place a pebble for Jessica Stanforth as she recovers from a recent hospitalization. We lift her and her family in our prayers during this time. Finally, Reverend Hannah will place one smooth stone and one pebble into the water on behalf of all of those joining us online. So please remain seated and join in singing hymn number 123 in the hardback hymnal, Spirit of Life, after which we will share a moment of silence.
Was broken, my heart was broken. Sorrow, 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 sorrow. My heart was broken, my heart was broken. You saw it, you claimed it, you touched it, you saved it. My tears are drying, my tears are drying. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. tears are drying, your beauty and kindness made tears clear my blindness. While I'm worth my room on this earth, I will be with you. While the chief puts sunshine on leaf, I'll thank him for his work and your birth and my birth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My heart was broken. My heart was broken. Sorrow, 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 sorrow. My heart was broken. My heart was broken. You saw it, you claimed it, you touched it, you saved it. While I'm worth my room on this earth, I will be with you. While the chief puts sunshine on leaf, I'll thank him for his work and your birth and my birth. Yeah, 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 yeah.
The reading this morning is by Bell Hooks in an essay she wrote in All About Love. Everyone wants to know more about love. We want to know what it means to love, what we can do in our everyday lives to love and be loved. We want to know how to seduce those among us who remain wedded to lovelessness and open the door to their hearts to let love enter. The strength of our desire does not change the power of our cultural uncertainty. Everywhere, we learn that love is important and yet we are bombarded by its failure. In the realm of the political, among the religious, in our families, and in our romantic lives, we see little indication that love informs decisions, strengthens our understanding of community, or keeps us together. This bleak picture in no way alters the nature of our longing. We still hope that love will prevail. We still believe in love's promise. We believe it is important to know love. We believe it is important to search for love's truths, to open our hearts more fully to love's power and grace. We must dare to acknowledge how little we know of love. In theory and in practice, we must face the confusion and disappointment that much of what we were taught about the nature of love makes no sense when applied to daily life.
When I was in high school, there was a terrible but untouchable tradition on Valentine's Day of buying roses for friends, crushes, boyfriends, and girlfriends. Of course, this fundraiser was run by the prettiest, most popular girls, and every year Valentine's Day would approach and I would develop a pit in my stomach when I saw the girls setting up the order forms, laying out the buckets of roses. I was plagued with anxiety each year. The roses, a kind of litmus test for how popular you were, how hot you were, how loved you were. I don't actually remember how many roses I got each year of high school, but what I remember most about Valentine's Day during those poignant years of adolescence was the stress of it. The embodied response of dread, that the day was actually some kind of invitation to misery rather than celebration, that it was always about what I wanted so desperately in the very core of my being, but what I might never have. Even as a high schooler, I could sense that the swirl of emotions that lived inside me in anticipation of Valentine's Day, it didn't feel like love. It felt like insecurity. It felt like fear and longing and agitation, that the performance of love we are taught, that we are socialized with, didn't make me feel the way I thought love would. Love should make me feel. When I first read Bell Hooks' All About Love, it was a revelation to see someone clearly laying out just how confusing love is for all of us. Just how bamboozled we are by the cultural expectation of it. Everywhere we learn that love is important, and yet we are bombarded by its failures, Hooks says. Much of what we know and expect to associate with love doesn't feel as good as we are conditioned to expect. And yet we are always seeking it, always pursuing it, and its absence can feel like death. Edna St. Vincent Millay writes, "Love cannot fill the thickened lung with breath, nor clean the blood, nor set the fractured bone. Yet many a man is making friends with death for lack of love alone." The absence of love in our lives is painful, private, utterly isolating. In the words of the poet, can cause us even to make friends with death. To be without love feels like a risk to your very survival. And in some regard, this is true. We need love to survive. If we consider just how fundamentally we are driven to be close, to be intimate, the most powerful hormones in the human body are produced during and after moments of physical intimacy, after giving birth, after sex, after receiving a long hug or a massage. A lack of oxytocin is associated with clinical depression. To be deprived of moments of profound intimacy is to risk feeling worthless and undeserving. This is why love is not just the stuff of poetry, that the depth of our feelings and our craving for it, it's not just in our heads. We are hardwired to want it, to seek it out despite the universal experience of its failures, its harms, its abuses. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So much of what we do when we return to the confusing well of love, the disappointing well of love, over and over, feels insane. But when rationality fails us, when rational explanations fail to make us understand human behavior, I look to the soul, to the spiritual, to try and see that it's not a personal malformation that drives us to want love no matter the cost. It is a core part of how we are made. Hooks notes that despite an abundance of examples of love's failures, it in no way alters the nature of our longing. We still hope that love will prevail. We irrationally seek love because it reinforces the purpose of our lives, the meaning of our very existence, to know and be known, to be wanted and to belong, to exist within a matrix of other humans, a star in a constellation, tethered and held within something larger than ourselves. If that is not spiritual in nature, I don't know what is. So much of that confusion and disappointment that Bell Hooks writes up, so much of that, it feels interlocked with our knowledge of love. She writes that it comes from a lack of shared definition. And so Hooks provides one based on the work of Eric Fromm and M. Scott Peck. Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. How perfect. How perfect, then, that this community, this faithful congregation, is guided by the values of Unitarian Universalism, which tells us that love is required for spiritual growth. That love and spirit are inextricably linked. In case you came here for something else, let me set you straight. What we are doing here is growing spiritually, in fits and starts, rarely observable to the naked eye, but that each of us arrives here to this community to practice love and in turn grow our spirits. The love of Unitarian Universalism, the love of faithful community, it will not mend your broken heart. And it will not make rejection hurt less, but it can bring clarity to your pain. It can assure you of its naturalness, its normalness, that to be heartbroken and rejected is to be human. That to seek it out time and again is not a moral failing, but rather a sign of your very humanity, the sign of your very soulful desire to be a part of something larger than yourself. Being in relationship with this place, with our source of love. A kind of love that can never be unrequited because the force of love that we believe in, the one that sits at the center of our faith, is one that is all-powerful, never yielding, never ceasing, and it is available to you always and forever. You are held in love each and every day that you wake up. Some of us know the love of a romantic partner, a deep and abiding love. Some of us know the love of friendship and of chosen family that show up to make you dinner and fold the laundry. Some of us know the love of pets, eager and warm and fuzzy. Some of us know the love of children with sticky fingers and belly laughs. Some of us know the love of mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and grandparents, the love that grounds you and reminds you who you are. But all of us, every single one of us, can know the love of Unitarian Universalism, the love beyond belief. You are beloved. You are wanted. You belong to yourself and to this world, to this community. The vastness and omnipotence of this love can be terrifying, because what kind of power is unlocked in each of us when we recognize our own belovedness? When each of us can recognize and connect to the confidence and spiritual security that comes with knowing we are loved from within and beyond, no matter how many roses we got on Valentine's Day, no matter how many dates we left feeling dejected, no matter how many marriages we've sought to end, no matter how many friends leave us hanging, you are loved beyond belief. This is the theology of universalism. Each of us universally, unconditionally loved. And the love of community, of faithful family, it is not lesser. It is not weaker or second best to the love we associate with rom-coms and meet-cutes. It is just as vital, just as necessary, and more than available. It is the kind of love that pushes us towards greater compassion and greater recognition of our own and others' humanity. Episcopal priest Reverend Dr. Carter Hayward writes, "Love is a conversion to humanity, a willingness to participate with others in the healing of a broken world and broken lives. To accept the love of this place, to practice the love of this faith, to place your words and deeds and beliefs up against the test in the name of love is to accept fully and completely your own humanness." Toni Morrison cautions, "No more apologies for a bleeding heart when the opposite is no heart at all. Danger of losing our humanity must be met with more humanity." Hooks, too, cautions us that our disappointment, our confusion, our cultural expectations around love has set us up to become profoundly cynical about love, profoundly skeptical about love. In becoming cynical and skeptical about love, we threaten our very humanity. By hardening our hearts out of fear or shame or overwhelm, we risk losing the world to callous and shallow transactions. We risk losing the world to its brokenness and its cruelty. As your minister, I caution you to stay open to love, to stay soft in your hearts, to remain optimistic and hopeful about love, because to do otherwise is to risk crushing your spirit. And what the world needs now is people whose spirits are strong, resisting, whose spirits are growing and maturing, being battle-tested and ready for more. This is not a time to give up on love. It is a time to look around and help make more. To experience the love of this place and our faith and know it is evidence that love continues to prevail, continues to be worth pursuing, to avail yourself of it here and then choose to go out and multiply it with the way you live your life. We begin each day, again, with a faithful commitment to make love real in our lives and in the world, knowing we are held in it. We swim in it. We are surrounded by it, beyond belief, beyond all reason. That we are each connected in our yearning, our disappointment, and our failures at love, but believing in its promise again and again and again. May it be so, and amen. I invite you to stand as you are able or rise in spirit with our final hymn, number 34, "Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire."
As we extinguish our chalice, please join me in unison with the words printed in your order of service, followed by our sung response. Extinguish our chalice, but the flame remains in us as we live into the mission of this congregation, building beloved community with compassion, service, and empowerment.
Go Birds!
Beloveds, you are loved. Loved beyond belief, loved beyond reason, all day, every day. That well never runs dry, and it is the promise of our faith, of our universalist theology, to tell you that you are worthy, you are deserving, and that love will prevail again and again and again. May it be so, and amen.